Hello, everyone. Is anybody there yet? Hello, how are you? Blessings. Welcome, everybody. Nice to have you. We have so many people there already. Bosse, Fayajuola, Dora, Oluwatoyin, Mashu, Shegun, Fabienne, Volker, Solomon, Charles, Nero, Esther, Azubuike, Kike, Jason. Welcome, everybody. Please, can you please go ahead and share the link to this program? It will be helpful if we could all go and share the link to this program, please. Please go ahead and share the link. If you need to go back to your timeline to share the link, we'll give you the time to do that so that you have time to catch up with us before we start. So we'll not start right now. Go and share the link first before we start. And also, if you can share the link right there as you are watching, please go ahead and do it so that it could be a blessing to some other people as well. So we'll be glad if you could do that. Well, our today's topic, as usual, is a continuation, part 3 of why does God take from those who don't have and give to those who have? Why does God take from those who don't have and give to those who have? It's like it's not fair. That is what most people would think, that it doesn't sound fair that God will be taking from, or will allow even other people to take from those people who do not have to give to those who already have. It's like it's not fair. But I've been talking to you about why God allows that to happen. Why would God allow the poor to get poorer and the rich to get richer? And why would God allow that, the little money that is left in the hands of those people who don't have will even be leaving them, will be taken away from them to be given to the people who already have a lot? But that is what we're talking about. And I started to talk about in the morning, I started to talk about the reasons why from Luke 16. There's a scripture in Luke 16 that explains to us why these kind of things happen. Luke 16, 10 to 12. And that scripture says, he who is faithful, this is Jesus himself talking, saying that he who is faithful in what is little, he who is faithful in that which is little, is also faithful in much. And he who is not faithful in that which is little, he will be unfaithful in that which is much. So it's about faithfulness. That's what I spoke about in the beginning. It is about faithfulness. But it is important. God expects, when God gives or allows people who are poor to have little, and there is nobody that doesn't have anything. Everybody has got something. Everybody starts with little. Every big thing we see today all starts with little. Even the rich people, they don't just start by being rich from birth. They don't just start by being rich all of a sudden. Everybody needed to prove their faithfulness in being faithful in the little things of life. So in our own situation, and I want to address this to every one of us that is watching this, Will you ask yourself the question, how faithful have you been? Maybe it is because you have not been faithful in little things, especially in little things. Some of us are expecting to be faithful when we get big things, but God's faithfulness starts with little things. God's standard and God's test starts with little things. We have to start by showing faithfulness in little things. Only when we show faithfulness in little things, then God comes and promotes us and gives us something bigger. So the idea is that we should all, first of all, ask ourselves the question, the little that I have right now, am I being faithful in it? How faithful am I in the little things that I have? How faithful am I in the small that God has given unto me? Even if the only thing you have are your eyes, your ears, your hands, or your feet, that is already enough. That is already enough wealth and resource that you could use to already begin to create more wealth. So God is very particular about being faithful in little things, So we should all be wondering, we should all be asking ourselves how we are doing with our faithfulness in little things. God pays attention to little things. Do you remember when Jesus fed the 5,000? And after he finished feeding them, he discovered that there was a lot of fragments, a lot of particles of the bread and fish. After all the masses have finished eating, after all they have finished feeding all the crowd, and the crowd is gone, Jesus took notice of all the little broken particles and segments of the bread and the fish. That should tell us something, that God is particular about small things, that Jesus pays attention to little things, to little beginning. And so what he told his disciples is that don't let anything perish. Don't let any of these particles be lost. So he told them to gather those small fragments, those particles, those segments of the bread and the fish. And you know what happened? When those people finished gathering all the segments and all the particles of the bread and fish, it was recorded that they actually ended up gathering about 12 baskets, 12 full baskets of bread and of loaf of bread and fish. So what the lesson in that for us is that those little things that we disregard most of the time, those little things that we don't pay attention to, those little things that we think are not important, those little things that we pass by, that we just say is too small to pay attention to, but everything comes from them. Everything big today grows from little things of life. Everything that we respect, that we pay attention to, that are big and huge, they all start from something very small and that looks insignificant to a human being, to us. Most of us, we only want to pay attention to the big things, the things that are impressive, the things that are large, the things that are splashy, that are glittering. But not all that glitters is gold, and God does not start things big. God is not a God that just makes everything big. He didn't, when he was creating the earth, he didn't just say, let there be earth, and then everything came into place. The trees, the sky, the rivers, the human being, everything didn't just come at once. So even God could not start everything big. Even God had to follow this principle. Even God had to follow this law. And the principle was that God himself had to subject himself to starting small. Everything that we see today as big started small. Everything you admire, everything that ever started, that you have seen as big and flashy today, started small. Even God had to limit himself, even though he's Almighty God. I mean, he had the power to do anything he wanted. He had the power to make everything in the earth come to be all of a sudden. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He had to follow the laws, because this is a law. It is a law that governs our universe, that everything has to start small. That is the law for everybody. Everything has to start small. So if you have small things today, or you are poor today, that is a good place to start from. You should say, yes, I'm happy. I have something small to start with. Because the only thing you could do is to grow. If you have the right attitude, if you followed, if you are faithful in that little thing, you will only grow up. But if you are not faithful, you will remain stagnant, or that small thing will even die. But the problem with us most of the time is that we think that things that we have are just too small. And because they are small, we think that God is not fair to us. We think that God has not blessed us. We think that, that is not, something is not significant enough, that we cannot do anything with something small. That is one of the problems with with the poor. We always say, why is the poor getting poorer? Well, the poor is getting poorer because he is not valuing the little he has. The poor is always getting poorer because the poor is not respecting the little that he has. The poor is always getting poorer because the poor is not, is not seeing the value in the little dime or in the little dollar that he has. He is looking up to the big dollar, not knowing that it is only the small dollar, the small dime that grows up to become the big millions of dollars. And most of the time we think that the rich people are stingy. And the reason why we think that the rich people and the wealthy people are stingy is because they value little money too much. And what I have discovered, and it used to surprise me a lot of times, I used to wonder, why is it that, because I have some rich people in my congregation, and what I discover is that, the people who really give, who really send money up and down and really do anything with money and just, splash money and spray money and, just give money up and down, are the people that are not really rich. They are just the ordinary poor people. They are the ones who are giving to every project in the church. They are the ones giving all the, all the plans, all the agenda that pastor is coming out to do. It's the poor people that are always responding to every call to come and give or donate money. But the rich people, they are very calculative. They value their money. They value their $1. What each time that I remember, even when I was growing up, when I was growing up, I discovered that my relatives, the ones that had money, when they come to town, they will always give us little, maybe change, a chicken change, a pocket money. But we'll be expecting them to give us large amount of money because we are looking at their cars, we are looking at their houses, we are saying, oh, they have the resources, they have the money, they should be able to bless us, they should be able to give us more. And I'm sure that many of you might be mad and angry at your relatives and at your family members who are rich, but you think that they are underperforming. They are giving to you less than you deserve. They are giving to you less than they could afford. We are all saying that they are stingy, and we call them stingy. We call them that they are, they are not good people. They don't want to help you. They don't want to release the money. They are too tight-faced. They don't want, they don't love and all that. But in the real sense, it's because they value what they have. They value the money they have. They value each dollar. In fact, I even discovered that in my own personal life, that I was not valuing a $100 bill or $10 bill like people who really work for it. Even being a pastor, before I began to discover all these laws, I used to wonder, when you go to churches to preach all that the people who really work hard for the money, they only give you maybe $10, $20, or they give you $50, but they don't give you big amount of money. And you'll be wondering, these people are supposed to have more money. They're supposed to be giving you more money, but they're just giving you little bits of money. You're thinking, oh, these people they don't respect you, or they don't value money. No, they are stingy. It is because they value money. They value their effort, their money. And what I'm trying to say is that if you notice, you will discover that people who are not rich, they don't value, most of them, not all of them, but most of them don't really value $1 as the rich man values it. Most of the rich men, they have more respect, they have more value for that dollar than the poor man. If the poor man, if you give him $1, he will just think, You didn't give him anything. He will even be accusing you that you are, as if you are guilty or as if you have done something wrong. And if you notice that, if you have ever interacted with poor people, and when they help you or do something for you, and you give them less than they imagined or they expected, you see their reaction. They are not always as grateful, and that has happened to me. When I thought I'm dealing with a rich or wealthy person, and I'm thinking they should give me something better or big, and they are giving me something smaller than I expected. I always look a little bit disappointed. Even I tried not to show it, but because I didn't have respect for their labor, I didn't have respect for the effort and for the work they put in to make that money. For me, it's a little money, but rich people know that there is no little money. Truly rich people know that there is no small money. Every money is a seed. Every money is a seed, and a dollar also is a seed. Can you imagine if you have $1 a day and you know what to do with it, and you save it, and you know how to multiply it? That will give you $30 in a month, because $1 a day will, imagine, that money will grow. That money will grow. So $30 in a month that you invest, $30 in a month that you do something with, will always multiply. And that $30 in a month will give you, in the next 10 years, if you know how to invest it and you know how to follow the laws of money, it could give you $1 million US. So never you think that some money is too small or insignificant. And that is one of the problems of the poor. The poor man always thinks that what he has is too small. They don't value what they have. They think that they are poor. Why do the poor men say they are poor? Because they don't value what they have. They have little, and they are thinking that because they have little, so that little is insignificant. Because they think they have little, and that little, it doesn't deserve to be treasured, and that is not to be respected. They are only looking forward to when they will have much. They are only looking forward to big money. That is only the time that they want to respect. That's the only time they want to think, yes, I have something. But really, a real successful person will value everything he has. And that is the principle God was talking about, that we must be faithful in small things. He that is not faithful in small will not be given much, and he will not be trusted with much. And then the little he has will be taken from him as well. So when God is asking for us to be faithful concerning small things, He's trying to tell us that we should be faithful even in our attitude to small things. We should be faithful in being a custodian of that small thing we have. We should be faithful to show responsibility even regarding small things. We should be faithful to show stewardship on and about the small things we have. We should show shrewdness about the small things we have. We should show some frugality concerning the small things we have. So small things demands responsibility as well. We have to show that we are responsible concerning the small things that we have. Show responsibility. And me personally, I'm always looking for workers. I'm always looking for helpers, for team members, and I always test them in their attitude to small things. Because the way you do small things is the way you do big things as well. The way you do small things is the way you do everything. Your attitude to small things is who you are. Your attitude to small things is who you really are. So faithfulness in small things is important. In fact, God does not even talk so much about faithfulness in big things. He's only talking about faithfulness in small things. Why? Because what you do with small things determines who you become in life. And your attitude to small things determines who you are. So it is small things that really defines you. It is your attitude to small things that defines who you are. It is only your attitude to small things that gives you credibility. It is only your attitude to small things that determines your future. It is only how you respond and how you behave to smaller things, to the small things of life, that determine your height in life. You might never be able to grow and to be able to achieve something of significance in life until you begin and learn to respond responsibly and to value small things. And only when you have the right attitude to small things and you treat small things with respect, you treat small things with honor, with dignity, and you honor, and you try to be faithful in small things, only then that God will allow you to taste bigger things as well. So what should be our attitude concerning small things? When it comes to small things, you must make sure that you show the highest level of responsibility. Show the highest level of responsibility. Treat it with all your strength. That's what the Bible says. Anything you do, do with all your strength. So never say something is small or something is insignificant. There is nothing that is insignificant in life. Everything is important. Everything is important. Everything is important. Even small things are important. And small things are very important. They are the most important things, because it is only your attitude to small things that determine your height in life. So one thing you want to do with small things is to be faithful with small things. The second thing you want to do with small things is to show responsibility. When I was in primary school and high school, our teachers used to tell us this thing, and every one of them kept on telling us that how you behave, how you study in primary school lays the foundation for who you become in life. How you study in secondary school, primary and secondary school, determines your future. I discovered that very fast. Because when I was finishing primary school, I discovered that if I don't learn to read and to write, in fact, up to now, I have very bad signature because I couldn't write, and I couldn't write well when I was in primary school. And up to now, I can't get myself to fix that signature when I write. My signature is poor and bad because that is the foundation. That was my attitude. I could have said, no, I don't care for primary school. Primary school is not important. I'm waiting till I get to university. I got to university, it's already too late because I got used to writing that way. And since I'm writing that way, now it's too late to fix it. I did not do the right thing with my writing in regards to my handwriting when I was in primary school. And now, thank God that we don't need to write anything so much anymore. We are only typing. But, that's why I had bad handwriting. The same thing with everything. How you lay because the small things are the foundational things. The small things are just like primary school. That is the foundation of your life. If you don't learn to read, if you don't learn to write, you might never learn to read or write in your life anymore. If you spend 6 years in primary school and you never learn to read, that's it. Forget about it. Those things that you didn't put there, the system that you did not put there, the foundation that you did not put there, they would not appear by themselves. They will not come. They will not come when you need them in the future. But it is how you treated, how you responded to the small things in your life, to the beginning of your life. That is how your life will be lived later on. But when I was in secondary school as well, I discovered that is very important because we needed to do our graduation, high school graduation exam. In Nigeria, they call it WAEC. And I discovered that if you don't pass that school leaving certificate, exam in Nigeria or in any other country, you will never be able to get admission to a higher institution or university because you did not pass. If you don't pass, you don't go further. If you don't pass, you will not be admitted higher. So it is what you did at the beginning of your life, what you did with the small level, what you did with small things is what determines who you become in life. A lot of people who are occupying very great positions today, a lot of people who are having a lot of influence and success and achievements and money today is because they started, they treated small things with diligence. They treated small things with responsibility. They were responsible with small things. It is because they studied very well in primary and secondary school. That is a sign of being responsible. If they studied very well, they got good education later on. They got scholarship. And thank God, I came to my senses very early in life when I was in secondary school. Just 1 year before I finished secondary school, my sister spoke to me. And she spoke sense to me and gave me some wisdom and said, if you don't pass this exam, you will remain in this village forever. I didn't want to remain in that village. I started studying day and night and working really hard. And that was what saved me. I never studied before then. I never really know what it meant to read before then. But 1 year of hard work gave me, I passed that school certificate exam very fast. Immediately from the first attempt, the result was so good. And then I applied for a scholarship and, I got a scholarship to study abroad. So that became the foundation for my life. If I had not passed that exam, if I had not passed, the WAEC or the school certificate high school exam, There is no way I would have gotten the scholarship to come and study abroad. There is no way I would have, everything would have just been ruined in my life. So what's that talking about? It's talking about fundamental things, foundational things of life. Sometimes the small things of life are the most important things of life. So where you are supposed to show, the place where you are supposed to show the most responsibility is actually when it comes to small things. So when you look at poor people, sometimes you'll be thinking, why is it that God is not pitying these people? Why is it that other people, God is allowing so many poor people to be in life? Why is it that there are so many poor people around? Of course, there's a lot of poor people that are poor because of catastrophe, disaster, all kind of situation. But really, when you come to think about it, it depends on what they do with what they know, or it depends on what they know. It depends on what is in their mind. It depends on the knowledge, on the understanding they have about life. It depends on the principles that they are living by. Maybe nobody showed them the principle. Maybe nobody told them how to live right. But everybody that is poor actually has something. Everybody has something, no matter how small it is. Even though what they have might be small, but it is the attitude that they have to that small thing that actually determines who they become in life. If they have had if they could be taught and they could be given the right understanding on how to treat the small things they have, you will discover that the poor will be getting richer. The poor will come out of poverty. We will not have so much poverty, poor people as we are having them right now, because poor people don't always know what to do with the little things they have. Poor people are only doing one thing. Poor people normally are only complaining. Poor people only complain why they are poor. Poor people are only complaining why they are in that situation they are in. Poor people are always so frustrated about their condition and their environment of living. They don't know that everything depends on what they know. They don't know that everything depends on what they do with the little thing that they already have. As a matter of fact, a lot of poor people don't even want to believe that they already have something. They don't want to believe that they have something. They don't want to acknowledge what they have. They don't even want to acknowledge that they already have enough to make them bigger, to make them prosper, to make them come out of the abject situation that they are in. So the very first thing that is important in life, and that's what Jesus was trying to tell us, that faithfulness is required for the people, so that the poor will not get poorer, and so that the rich will not get richer. Faithfulness is required. And faithfulness in what? Faithfulness in that little. You must redefine the importance of little in your life. You must redefine the importance of, little things. You must redefine your attitude toward little things of life. Little things of life are some of the most important things in life. In fact, it is only those little things of life that God is calling you to look forward to. God is asking you to go after the little things and show responsibility. Show responsibility to stewardship. To small things. Show faithfulness in small things. So what are the other things that God is expecting you to? What is other things that God is expecting from you if you have small things, if you have small money or small influence or small church or small, no matter whatever small things or insignificant things that you have, what is God's expectation from you? One, is expecting faithfulness from you. Two, is expecting responsibility from you. He wants you to be faithful. He wants you to be responsible for each and every little millimeter of whatever you have, no matter how small it is. Three, God is expecting stewardship from you. He wants you to steward for him that little thing you have. Show stewardship. Serve with that little thing that you have in such a way. Steward it in such a way for God, as if you are stewarding a whole life for God, as if you are, as if you are being put to manage the greatest wealth in the world. Do it with all your heart. Do it with all your soul. Do it with all your might. If you can relate like that, with a great, sense of high responsibility, a great sense of faithfulness, a great sense of stewardship, if you could show real stewardship in little things, you will discover that God is not unjust to leave you the way you are. God will always promote you. God will always give you an answer. He will give you a way out. He will bless you. He will show you. Because I personally, as an employer of labor, I personally, as a pastor and as a leader, I always look for people who are like that. And I'm sure every director, every manager, every business owner is always looking for people who are like that. Who are like what? People who are zealous and who are responsible about little things. People who are showing zeal, a lot of diligence. People who are diligent about small things. God is always looking for them. And the Bible also promises it. The Bible says, if you find anybody who is diligent in his work, it doesn't matter how small the thing is. If he's diligent in his work, that he will not remain down. He will not remain where he is today. He will stand before kings eventually. Anybody that is truly diligent, anybody that is showing stewardship to little things, will not remain small. That person will be promoted, and that person sooner or later will stand before kings. It is not me who said it. Those are not my words. Those are the words of the Almighty God. And that is why you see that a lot of presidents, a lot of prime ministers, a lot of people who have really become, successful and blessed in life, they all started from poverty. They all started from something small. And the way they were able to break through in life and to become so successful is because they showed these qualities. They showed faithfulness in small things. They showed not just faithfulness, they showed responsibility in small things. And they showed stewardship in small things. I remember I had a story of a man in this part of the world where we are in Latvia. Was it Estonia? One of these former Soviet republic. This guy was admitted to work in a bank as a gatekeeper. But he was so good, what he was doing. He was so responsible. He was showing so much responsibility that even the vice presidents of the bank were not as good as him in showing responsibility, hunger, thirst, stewardship. One day, the president of the bank just said, "You are so good in your attitude. You have the right attitude." So they sent him to school. They sent him to go and get some education. And so they paid for his education. He came back, he became a manager. He became the best manager. Doesn't have university education or anything. He became the best manager. Then from there, they made him the head of department. He became the best head of department. Then later on, he became the vice president. He came to work as a janitor. He came to work as a gatekeeper in the bank. And later on, when the head of this bank wanted to retire, he made him to be the president of the bank. He became the president of the bank just because he was doing everything with all that he had. He was showing the principle of faith. So the problem is not where you start from. The problem is not poverty. So when we are thinking, why is it that God allows those people who have, those people who don't have, why is it that God allowed that what they have is taken from them? It is what the small thing that you have is only taken from you if you have not shown responsibility. The small that you have is, the poor. The small that the poor has is only taken from the poor and given to the rich when the poor refuses to show responsibility. When the poor refuses to show responsibility, when the poor refuses to show faithfulness, then the little that he has is taken from him and given to the man that has much. So it is not because he has little that God wants to take from him. God is not against people who have little. God is not against people who are poor. God is against them remaining irresponsible even though they are poor. God does not want anybody to be irresponsible. Even if you are already rich and you are not showing responsibility, you will still lose what you have. The thing that you are having will still leave your hand and go to the hand of those people who are showing stewardship, responsibility, and faithfulness. So, the topic of our deliberation is, why does God take from those who don't have and give to those who have? The criteria, the reason is not because they don't have. The reason is not because they had little. The reason why God is taking from them is not because they are too poor. The reason why God is taking from them is that while they are poor, while they are having little, they are showing complacency. They are not showing zeal. They are not showing proactiveness. So the problem is that they have small, yes. They have little, yes. But they are poor, yes. But what are they doing with that state of poverty? What are they doing with that state of lack? If they remain there and just complain, if they remain in that state of poverty and just say there is nothing we can do, the world is not fair, the world is not just, the great, we're expecting somebody to give us something, or maybe somebody will just come and help us. That is where the problem is. God expects that those poor people in Africa and all over the world to show a different kind of attitude. God doesn't want them to complain. God doesn't want them to blame others. God doesn't want them to look up to others. God doesn't want them to wait and just wait until somebody brings something to them. Those are the kind of attitudes that make them to not just remain in poverty, but that makes God to come and take what they have from them and give to those people who don't have. So what God is expecting from every poor people in this world, so that the attitude He expects from them, and what I'm talking about right now, so that God will not take the little they have to give it to the rich people, so that God will not take the small they have to give it to the people who are more responsible. God needs them to change their attitude. God needs them to behave differently. And this is not just about some people in Africa, some poor people in Africa or somewhere. This thing I'm talking about is concerning you. I don't think there are too many of you who are listening to me right now who are millionaires already, or who are billionaires in US dollars. If you are not a millionaire, if you are not a millionaire in at least $1 million, if you are not worth $1 million US dollars, I don't think you are rich, and I think you are poor. Anybody that is worth less than $1 million US dollars is not rich, as far as I'm concerned. It means you are still in need. You are still, you still have challenges. And what that means is that this message is for you. So it means you have little. If you have little, if you have less than $1 million US dollars, it means you have little. You have challenges with money. And if you are having challenges with money, if you are having little money like that, so this message is for you. If you don't change your attitude, if you don't respond very well, and you don't learn these principles right now, what will happen to you is very clear, and it is already written in that Matthew 25. God will take from you the little that you have, and you are thinking you are comfortable, and you are thinking you are good enough. That little that you are having, you think is good enough for you, maybe your salary, maybe your income, maybe your savings, you think is good, and you are not doing anything with it. God will come and take it and make sure that it goes to the hand of those who are showing responsibility, who are doing something with what they have, and who are already rich. Money will always go from the poor to the rich if the poor don't change their attitude, if they don't show faithfulness and responsibility. Money will always move from those people who don't know the loss of money. I think you should write this down, especially those people who like to tweet. Money will always move from the hand of those who don't know the loss of money to the hands of those who know the loss of money. If we take all the monies of this world right now and give it and distribute to the poor, I've proved that to you yesterday, I think, that all that money will move from their hand. It will move in the next 1 year or 2 years. It will move back to the hand of those people who know the loss of money, those who are already rich. Because the people who are already rich, they are rich because they know something. They know the right attitude to money. They know the loss of money. So they will do the right thing so much that the money that you have given to the poor people, and it will just be slipping back right into the hand of the people who have money, who know the law of money. But the people who don't know the law of money will just go and they will just be wasting the money, and they will not even know when the money disappears, because they want to live like the poor, they live like the rich. Because the people who don't know the laws of money, who are poor, they are always breaking the laws, and they are always buying things, and they want to spend, or they are not multiplying, or they are not investing. So all the money they have, or they want to make money fast, or they are getting into schemes, or they are being deceived, or they are giving their money to churches who are just using their money and they don't know where the money is going to, or they are giving their money to people who do Forex, and people who do Forex just lose their money, or people who money will always leave the hand of those people who don't know the laws. So if you are having little money, And if you don't have $1 million or less than, you are less than $1 million, it means you have little money. You are not rich. And if you are in that situation, it means you need to know the things that is going to make you to not just remain in that situation, but to make you even lose the little you have. If you don't want to lose the little you have, if you don't want to lose the little money, little income you have, or little mortgage you have, or have you noticed that most people, when they were children and when they were growing up, their parents had a lot of money or little money. There was maybe middle class or high class in the society. But by the time their parents get old, they discover that their parents are already poor. And they said they lose their job or something. It's not because of job or anything. It's because they didn't show the right attitude. They don't know the loss of money, and and that's why when you don't follow the loss of money and you don't show the right attitude, you will always lose. The little you have or the much you have will always go from your hand to the hand of those who have and are showing a high level of responsibility. So what do you need to do as a poor person so that the money will not go from your hand to the hand of other men who already have? One, you need to show faithfulness to little. And that's what I've paid a lot of attention, a lot of time to speak about today. You have to show that you are really faithful in your attitude to little things. That's number one. Number two, you must show a high level of responsibility. When it comes to little things of life, you must show that you are very responsible. You must be, your attitude must be such as if it is $1 billion that you are showing responsibility to. Or even if it's your job, even if it is little thing you are doing, you must do it as if your life depends on it. That is showing a high level of responsibility. I like what Martin Luther King Jr. said when he was fighting for the rights of the African Americans in America. He was saying, if you are sweeping the street, or you are washing plates, or whatever you are doing, or you are a cook, you should sweep that street in such a way that there will be nobody who has lived before you or living alive today or is yet to be born that will sweep that street as good as we do it. Be the best street sweeper in the whole universe. Do it with such zeal and such enthusiasm as unto the Lord. Do it so well that there will be nobody on the whole universe that will be able to do it, sweep that street better than you. If you behave that way, it means that you are showing faithfulness. You need to show faithfulness, number one. Then you need to show responsibility. That's number two. To little things. It's important. In little things. And everybody in the world that is successful, everybody in the world that is big or that is a employer of labor, everybody that is a leader is looking for people with this kind of attitude. I am looking for people like that. People who will show responsibility, who will show faithfulness in little things, not to big things, but to little things. Number three, God is looking for people who will show stewardship. Stewardship means you will be a manager of everything, no matter how little it is. Show that you can be a good steward to that little thing. Show stewardship. God is expecting you to show stewardship in the little things that you are having. So show responsibility, show faithfulness, show stewardship, and then you need to show, in regards to little things, you need to also show shrewdness. You need to be shrewd. You need to be economical. You need to, not economical. You need to show financial intelligence. You need to be able to take the right decision at the right time. That is shrewdness. You need to be shrewd about little things, especially when it comes to money. You need to show shrewdness. And that is the next thing you need to do for the money not to leave your hand and to go and to the hand of those people who already have. Then the next thing, number 5 thing that you must do for money not to leave your hand to go to the hand of the rich is show frugality. Frugality is the ability to manage, to economize what you have and to use it in the most informed way. So those things are needed. Those are the qualities that you need to demonstrate in regard to small things. You need to show these things in regard to any small things you are doing. Either you are doing it as a worker, or you are doing it, as someone that is employed, or just in your house or at home, or no matter anything you are doing. You must show this level of responsibility, faithfulness, stewardship, shrewdness, frugality. Those are the things that determine that the money that you already have will not leave your hand, that you will not remain poor forever. If you show these qualities, you will not remain poor forever. You cannot. It's impossible. Because if you see a man that is diligent in his dealings, he will not remain poor. He will not even remain ordinary. He will stand before successful men, before great men. That is the word of God. The hand of the diligent maketh rich. That's what the Bible says. If you are diligent like that, you know there is no way you will remain poor. So problem is not that you are poor. Most people in the world who are successful today, they used to be poor yesterday. You know, that's why the Bible says that don't despise the days of small beginning. Don't despise the day of small beginning. It is your attitude really to small things that really determines who you become in life. You remember that situation in the story that Jesus told about the parable of the talent? That situation with the parable of the talent is actually talking about that man had the same problem. The man that got 1 talent. Because his problem was that he was not valuing the small things he had. He was thinking that how could others be giving 5 talents and 2 talents, and he is only giving 1 talent. So he was despising small things. And the Bible said, do not ever despise small things. Do not despise the day of small beginning. Don't despise small things. Everything that is big today or that is to be big tomorrow starts small. So don't despise small things. It is what your attitude is about small things that really determines either you have a big future or you have a mediocre future. Either you have a successful future or you have a future of failure. Either you are going to be a loser tomorrow or a winner tomorrow. The time is determined by your attitude to small things. How are your children? I think we should especially pay attention to our children when it comes to this principle. What is their attitude to insignificant small things? Everything depends on how you relate to small things. Your attitude to small things determines your destiny. Your attitude to small things determines your future. And today, people in my environment and thinking, I am very, very strict when it comes to doing things well. And I need everything to be done well, almost perfect. They call me perfectionist. I want to get everything perfect. But I don't really think I'm a perfectionist, but that's what other people think. But that also starts from your attitude to small things. And some people say, oh, you take everything serious. Yes, you need to take everything serious. And I think that, when I remember where I'm coming from my village and from what I needed to do in the bush. And so, that meticulosity and that, ability to be diligent started from that village, It started from my grandmother correcting me, beating my brother beating me about all the small things I don't do right, about correcting me, all those things that they are working on you to really be diligent, to really be, important, to pay attention to details. That's all important. That's all very important. And that is the lesson that Jesus was trying to teach in that story of him feeding 5,000. Remember I told you that story, that Jesus would pay attention to even details like the fragments coming from bread. Jesus would pay attention to fragments, to particles and segments coming from, this breakaway from bread and fish. He just did a big miracle. He just fed 5,000. And after all the people are gone, he's now telling his disciples, he didn't say sweep them away, go and throw them away. He said, no, gather them. Gather all the little particles. Gather all the little fragments of the bread and of fish. And then when you gather them, put them in baskets. And when they began to gather the little by little, it is the little particles became, first of all, 1 basket, then it became 2 baskets, 3 baskets, until they became 12 baskets of extra bread and of extra bread and extra fish. That shows us a principle right there. It is only fragments, insignificant little things. It is only small things that grow to become mountain. It is only the little things of life that grow to become, big. So big things are not what we should be chasing after. Big things are not what should be, because when you chase after big things, people will deceive you. Because when people know that you want big things, and they will begin to promise you what they are not able to do. They will begin to promise you big things. And so when you are trying to get big things all at once, then you discover that you lose them at the end of the day. So for you to really be trusted by God, for you, because God will only trust you with wealth when He has discovered that you have been tested, you have been tried and tested. So the moment right now, if you are not having much now, like I said, if you are having less than $1 million US, that is your stage of testing right now. You are right now at your own stage of being tested. You are right now at your own stage of being tried. You are right now going through your stage of trials and being tested. So God is expecting you to change your attitude to small things. God is expecting you to change your attitude to little things. God is expecting you to begin to show responsibility. God is expecting you to begin to show faithfulness. God is expecting you to begin to show stewardship. God is expecting you to begin to show shrewdness. God is expecting you to begin to show frugality. Those are the things that really determine why money goes from the hand of those who don't have to those who have. Those people who have and have in abundance, they have been proven as well. They have also been tested, and they have been tried. They have been tried and tested, and they have shown in what they are doing. They have shown diligence. They have shown the fact that they are faithful. They have passed the exam of being faithful in small things. They have shown their faithfulness in small things, and because they have shown that faithfulness in small things, that is the only reason why they now have much, why they now could be trusted with much things. So it doesn't really matter if you are envying people who have big things. Envy will not do it. Envy will not help you. And what people who are poor and have small things do is to just complain about the government, to complain. There are a lot of people who are always complaining about government. Or they're in the UK, they are complaining about the UK government. They're in the US, they are complaining about the US government. They are in Nigeria, they are complaining about Nigerian government. Everything is bad for them. They are just complaining. This government is bad. Oh, this president is bad. What are you doing? What are you doing where you are? What are you doing in relation to the little things you have? In that same country where you think that everything is bad, some people are making it day in, day out. And it all depends on what they know, because they know the right things and they have the right attitude. So stop complaining. Complaining is the attitude of failures. Complaining is the attitude of losers. Complaining and, tongue bashing other people, that's what makes you to remain where you are. That's what makes you not to have anything. And besides that, it makes whatever you have to go from you, to go away from you. Whatever you have will leave you, and it will go to the hand of those people you are criticizing, to the hand of those people who are already wealthy and rich. So the question of today is, why does God take from those who don't have and give to those who have? Why does God take from those who don't have and give to those who have? These are the reasons. Because the people that don't have, they always have the wrong attitude. They are always showing the wrong attitude. And it is that wrong attitude that is the problem. That wrong attitude that is the problem. So if we don't want to keep on losing what we have, if you don't want what the little that we have to keep on getting wings and flying away, we must begin to re-examine and re-evaluate our attitude towards small things. What are your attitude towards small things? And what I would like you to do right now, everybody that is listening to me, if you don't mind, I would like you to go and make an inventory of yourself. Take a pen. Take a pen and a paper, and what you want to do is you want to ask yourself the question: what are my attitudes to small things? How good am I in small things? Then write number one. Let's say the mark will be the highest mark will be 10. So from 0 to 10, all right? But be faithful, be objective with yourself, all right? Be truthful with yourself. Don't deceive yourself, okay? Don't just come up with big marks for yourself. It's even better to be more critical to yourself. It's even better to be more critical. So what I want you to do is this. write that computer or your iPad or whatever you have, gadget or paper, write my attitude to small things. Then put dash, why money will always leave me. Why money will always leave me. Then put put numbers 1 on a vertical line, put 1, then put number 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 points. Make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you put the each quality against those numbers. Number 1, you write faithfulness. Then you give yourself a mark from 0 to 10. In my attitude to small things, what do I rate? How do I rate? Am I 0? Am I 2? Am I 1? Am I 10? Am I 9? Am I 5? Am I 6? How do I assess myself in my attitude when it comes to faithfulness? Am I really faithful concerning small things? Number 2, then you write responsibility. How am I responsible concerning the smallest things around me and in my life right now, and especially money? How do I show responsibility? What mark do I get? Do I get 1? Do I get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 8? Give yourself a mark. Then, number 3, write stewardship. Study the words, what stewardship means, and then give yourself a mark. Am I really showing stewardship concerning small things? And then give yourself a mark. Then shrewdness. Then give yourself a mark as well. Go and study the word shrewdness, what it means, so that you can understand it very well. And then give yourself an objective, plain, truthful mark. That am I really very faithful? Am I really very shrewd in everything small in my life, especially when it comes to money? Then go ahead and do the last one, number 5, frugality. Study the word frugality and give yourself a mark. So it's between 0 to 10. How frugal am I concerning money and concerning everything that God gives, small, that God gives in my life? So once you do that, then you have to later on write your decisions. What are your decisions? What do you plan to do? That is how you begin to study more. You overcome the laziness that way, and then you overcome God called that servant lazy and unfaithful, lazy, and wicked. So that is how you overcome and upturn those stories about yourself. You change, being lazy to begin to study. Or wicked, for you to, instead of you blaming God and blaming other people, you begin to blame yourself and take responsibility upon yourself. Change your attitude, being a good steward, shrewdness, frugality, responsibility, faithfulness. Then that's how you come out of that situation. You work on yourself, and then you begin to maybe get a mentor, somebody who could mentor you, who could lecture you, who could teach you, make you to be a better person. Anyway, that's the last thing I want to tell you about this. Well, I want all of us to go right now and share the link. If you have not already done that, please go share the link right now. Anyone who has not shared the link yet, please go ahead and share the link, okay? Let's go ahead and do that right now. And apart from the link, I also want you to begin to write what you think about today's teaching. Please write what you think about today's teaching, please. Write what you think about today's teaching. Someone is saying, please repeat point 3 and 5. Why should I repeat when you could go and watch the video again? Like I said, you don't just listen to me one time and think you have listened. You need to always go and review the video 2-3 times and make notes for yourself. So don't just listen to me one time and say I should repeat, or you go and the video is going to be there all the time. Go and watch it. Make sure you watch it as many times as you can. But I need you to write what you think, what's your assessments of today's teaching, and what is it blessing you, and do you think it's a good topic? Do you think it's helping you? Do you think you got some truth? Do you think you got to know anything? So write me what you think. I know there are some people that might not be happy. You can write that as well. Tell me what you think. If you are angry, if you are not satisfied or you don't agree with some things, you go ahead and write it. Why not? So I want to read what you write or what you will say. Okay, Esther Bobga said, awesome teaching today. Okay, thank you. Hope Alive says, for those who want church growth, please apply. For those who want church growth, please apply this principle. Go and pay attention to the needy, the broken, the outcast. That is so true. Homeless, etc. Those are your new church members. Thank you, Pastor. That is so true. That is so true. I don't know the name of this person who says it's Hope Alive, but that is so true what he said. Yeah, Eli says thanks and bless. Yeah, but I want to hear your impression, not just praising me. I want to know what is happening to you, what is happening to what is happening to you. What are your feelings? What are your conclusions or decisions? Beth Irungu said very powerful. Those are compliments. Those are not what I need. I need you to write what is happening to you. What are your decisions? What is happening to you? This one says, I'm grateful. Oh my. Those are not the kind of things I need from you. I need to know if you are going to do something with what you are hearing or not. And if it's changing you or not. Is it transforming you or not? This one say great. No, it's fine. No, those are not things I need from you. I need, you have any feeling, anything going on within you? That's what you need to write. Okay, Nikki Okoro said, the small things in life sometimes are the fundamental things that will spring up. She's just writing my quotation. John Gongwe said, I'm blessed, man of God. I have been lifted to another level. I feel blessed. Thank you. Okay, that's better. That's better. Larry Waju said, nice one, sir. Don't just praise me. I don't need you to praise me. I want to know what's happening with you. I need to know your decisions, your transformation, your change. The goal of doing this is to get you to change, to move you from where you are to where you need to be. Ad Fidel said, Pastor, regarding money, giving it out to save a situation, what is your advice? Yeah, of course, if you have it, of course, and the situation is very dire, you must do that. But you also must know that you have paid yourself first. You must always know that at least 30% of whatever you're earning is going to pay yourself and to be multiplied. And then from the 70% that is left, if you of course, you can use it anyhow you want. Ernest Ebong said, I'm blessed through today's teachings. Is eye-opening. Thank you. Tiger says, liberating message. Volker says, it's life-transforming. It's dealing with many areas I never thought I was lacking behind. It's a wake-up call. That is good. That is good. Now that is helping you then. Adeoshun David said, God bless you, sir. More grace and anointing, sir. If one is unable to take care of little, he cannot take care of big opportunities. That's so true. Kenneth says, my pastor, is only God who can reward you. Yes. I personally, I'm getting blessed. Some changes already taking place. Okay, thank you. That's nice. Nkem Dike said, what if you score less than 5 or even 0 in all points? Oh, yeah, that means that you have a lot of work to do. If you score 0, it means you have to start from afresh. And my advice to you would be to go and listen to all these meditations. Then go and get my book, Money Won't Make You Rich. If you don't have the book already, it's on Amazon. Money Won't Make You Rich. It will really liberate you. And then you want to go and listen to all these teachings and give exam and sit down. You really need, it means you have not been educated in financial laws and loss of money. No problem. You just need to work on yourself. I also was not born this way. I come from a Domila, can you imagine? From a village, very small village where nobody talks about these things. But I educated myself. So, and I'm giving you more than you could ever read in 100 books. I'm giving you people through these teachings 2 weeks, more than anybody could ever give you. And that's why I want to challenge anybody that wants to join my team. I'm building a team to transform Africa, building a team to transform Nigeria. I'm leaving Europe after living here for 30 years, and I'm going back to Nigeria to bring about transformation of Nigeria and all of Africa. And I want to take with me 2,000 people. So if you are there and you are feeling you want to join my team and you want to contribute to the transformation of Africa, I want to call upon all of you who want to do that to write to me to pastor@godembassy.org, pastor@godembassy.org, or you could write to my foundation. I started a foundation just for this, to transform Nigeria and Africa. It's called Nigeria at SundayAdelajaFoundation.com. Or you could go to my blog, SundayAdelajablog.com, and go to Nigeria there and just see Nigeria, or type Nigeria, and then you'll be able to see more information about this. Kike Moronkeji said, thanks, Pastor Sunday, for another amazing message. Bill Gates is accredited with saying that if you are born poor, it's not your fault. Yes, However, if you die poor, then it's your fault. To be born poor is not your fault, but to die poor is your responsibility. That's so true. This statement is in agreement with what you've been teaching, that we're supposed to be responsible, frugal, good stewards, and disciplined in growing our wealth. That's so true. Thank you, sir. Charles Ushe said, yes, Pastor, we got a lot of truth from this session, and the self-assessment exercise is so helpful, very enlightening, sir. Okay. Also, Basse says, as for me, this is a lesson I've been waiting for, because it's good to be responsible in small things. All right. Thank you, everybody. It's nice being with you. It's nice hearing you, and it's nice having you here. And so let's go ahead and work on ourselves. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, and I hope you've been blessed today. And go ahead and share the link and do what you need to do to be a blessing to another person, to somebody else. God bless you all. Bye.